And Joshua gathered together all the tribes of Israel at Shechem, and he called those greater by birth, and the leaders and judges and teachers. And they stood in the sight of the Lord. And he spoke to the people in this way. Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, your fathers lived, in the beginning, across the river, Terah, the father of Abraham, and Nahor. And they served strange gods. Then I brought your father Abraham from the parts of Mesopotamia, and I led him into the land of Canaan. And I multiplied his offspring. And I gave to him Isaac. And to him I gave again Jacob and Esau. And I gave Mount Seir to Esau as a possession. Yet truly, Jacob and his sons descended into Egypt. And I sent Moses and Aaron, and I struck Egypt with many signs and portents. And I led you and your fathers away from Egypt, and you arrived at the sea. And the Egyptians pursued your fathers with chariots and horsemen, as far as the Red Sea. Then the sons of Israel cried out to the Lord. And he stationed a darkness between you and the Egyptians, and he led the sea over them, and he covered them. Your eyes saw all that I did in Egypt, and you lived in the wilderness for a long time. And I led you into the land of the Amorite, who was living beyond the Jordan. And when they fought against you, I delivered them into your hands, and you possessed their land, and you put them to death. Then Balak, the son of Zippor, the king of Moab, rose up and fought against Israel. And he sent and called for Balaam, the son of Beor, so that he might curse you. And I was not willing to listen to him, but on the contrary, I blessed you through him, and I freed you from his hand. And you crossed over the Jordan, and you arrived at Jericho. And the men of that city fought against you, the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. And I delivered them into your hands. And I sent wasps before you. And I drove them from their places, the 2 kings of the Amorites, but not by your sword, and not by your bow. And I gave you a land, in which you did not labor, and cities, which ye did not build, so that you might live in them, and vineyards and olive groves, which ye did not plant. Now therefore, fear the Lord, and serve him with a perfect and very sincere heart. And take away the gods that your fathers served in Mesopotamia and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. But if it seems evil to you that you would serve the Lord, a choice is given to you. Choose today what pleases you, and whom you ought to serve above all else, either the gods that your fathers served in Mesopotamia, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you live. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And the people responded, and they said, Far be it from us that we would forsake the Lord, and serve foreign gods. The Lord our God himself led us and our fathers away from the land of Egypt, from the house of servitude. And he accomplished immense signs in our sight, and he preserved us along the entire way by which we journeyed, and among all the people through whom we passed. And he cast out all the nations, the Amorite, the inhabitant of the land that we entered. And so, we will serve the Lord, for he is our God. And Joshua said to the people, You will not be able to serve the Lord. For he is a holy and powerful God, and he is jealous, and he will not ignore your wickedness and sins. If you leave behind the Lord, and you serve foreign gods, he will turn himself, and he will afflict you, and he will overthrow you, after all the good that he has offered to you. And the people said to Joshua, By no means will it be as you are saying, but we will serve the Lord. And Joshua said to the people, You yourselves are witnesses, that you have chosen the Lord so that you may serve him. And they answered, We are witnesses. Now therefore, he said, Take away strange gods from among yourselves, and incline your hearts to the Lord, the God of Israel. And the people said to Joshua, We will serve the Lord our God, and we will be obedient to his precepts. Therefore, on that day, Joshua struck a covenant, and he set before the people at Shechem the precepts and the judgments. He also wrote all these things in the volume of the law of the Lord. And he took a very great stone, and he stationed it under the oak that was in the sanctuary of the Lord. And he said to all the people, Lo, this stone shall be to you as a testimony, which has heard all the words of the Lord that he has spoken to you, lest perhaps, afterward, you might choose to deny it, and to lie to the Lord your God. And he dismissed the people, each one to their own possession. And after these things, Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him within the borders of his possession at Timnath-serah, which is situated on Mount Ephraim, before the northern side of Mount Gaash. And Israel served the Lord during all the days of Joshua, and of the elders who lived for a long time after Joshua, and who had known all the works of the Lord that he had accomplished in Israel. And the bones of Joseph, which the sons of Israel had brought from Egypt, they buried at Shechem, in a portion of the field that Jacob had purchased from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 young female sheep, and so it was in the possession of the sons of Joseph. Likewise Eleazar, the son of Aaron, died. And they buried him at Gibeah, which belongs to Phinehas, his son, and which was given to him on Mount Ephraim.